Hello. Thank you for coming to my channel today. It's a wonderful thing to see you here. If you are a returning subscriber, thank you for always trusting and coming to my site. I really do appreciate. Thank you for reposting this content. Thank you for referring me. And if this is the first time you are visiting me on my channel, I am so grateful. Thank you for taking the time to visit me today. I am so grateful. In order for you to continue to receive notification and be the first to get notified anytime I release new content, I would encourage you, please click that. Um, you see that subscribe button down below. Just click that subscribe button and you see that notification bell. Just click on it and select get notified for every content so that anytime I release new content, you'll be the first person to get it so that you will not miss any of those. And please help me to share this so that we'll continue to build this community of practice. I am committed to continue to share with you my knowledge, my experience, my research when it comes to Agile and Scrum. Because I'm one of the people that believes that Agile is a journey, not a destination. So we continue to iterate, we continue to learn and continue to build this community of practice. So thank you so much. I appreciate that. All right. So for today, I'll be sharing with you a really something that a lot of us has been struggling with. You know, sometimes people are not sure, is it this or is it that? You might be curious what that could be. Now, that is that idea of done. All right. A lot of people are not sure, is it done or is it done? Right? Some of us we have not heard about this idea of done. It's really amazing. I remember the first time I was having this conversation with one of my developers, and then we kind of chatting about one of the issues or stories that he was building the code, and then I asked him his name. This is a fictional name now, so that wasn't his name. I asked him, Philip, are you done with XYZ? He said, yes, I'm done. Okay. So when I started going deeper and said, okay, have you built the code? He said, yes. Have you been able to do unit test on that? He said, yes. Have you done some kind of debugging and then figure out if there is any bug? He said, yes. Have you done any kind of documentation? He said, nope. Have you, done like a review? He said, nope. So how would you say you are done then? And then his mouth was, like, was I going to do that? Anyway, so I'm hoping that you got what I mean by done. Right? So today we'll be talking about what makes a story done and what makes a story done. Right? So if you're a Scrum Master, perhaps you're an Agile coach, and you are working with your team members, and then sometimes your team members might not be fully completing their user stories, their commitment for every sprint, or even perhaps they're not even meeting up with shippable increments every sprint. So getting the idea of done and done could help you in order to mitigate such a challenge. Okay. So as always, I'm gonna pull out my board and we're gonna talk about today how you can completely know when a story is done. Right? How would you consider a story to be done? What are the criteria? What should be in place? So today's conversation is based on my experience, it's based on research, it's based on conversations I've had in the course of my journey as a Scrum Master. So I'm hoping that at the end, if you do have any question or maybe there is something you're not sure, please put that in the comment section. I would love to hear from you, okay? Let's make it very conversational. Let's make it engaging. And if you like what I do here, please, I'm encouraging you. I'm also appealing with you to please help me to share it with your network, on your social media platforms, and also whatever you could in order for us to keep building this community of practice. All right, so what does the Scrum Guide say? One of the things I always emphasize here is that the Scrum Guide is like the Christian Bible. So every Scrum Master should study the Scrum Guide and have it at his or her fingertips. Because, it's always like a reference guide. Just like I used to say, every professor in a university always have what is called a reference material. So the Scrum Guide should be the reference guide for every Scrum Master and every Agile practitioner. right? For me, it's like my Christian Bible. So I have, gotten hold of the Scrum Guide. So let's start with the Scrum Guide. What does the Scrum Guide say about the definition of done, like DOD? Quote, it says, it is a formal description of the state of the increment when it meets the quality measures required for the product, end quote. So I took a closer look at this definition, and then there were three key things, three key underlying words and phrases that stood out. In other words, the three components of DOD. The first is formal description, right? Then you look at it from the angle of business or functional requirements. That is the business value, right? Every DOD should be gearing towards achieving a business value. Look at it from the point of view of state of increment, the attributes of the products. The third is the quality measures, the coding language, the tool that the developers or development team use to build the code. Because every product has a coding language. So these are the three major components from the definition of done given by the Scrum Guide, right? So every DOD should be gearing towards the three fundamental components. So as a Scrum Master, you should be helping your team to get to that three components. If it is not meeting the three components, you should be able to do something about that. Now, let's break it down. Right? For some people, a lot of us might be so metaphysical. What does the Scrum Guide say? There might be different interpretation about what this Scrum Guide could mean. But let's bring it down to a layman's knowledge or understanding. DOD for me is just basically like a checklist. When you're going to the grocery store, you want to go buy some things from the, let's say, any kind of grocery store. I'm going to use Walmart, for example. Right? And then you have your list of things you want to get purchased from the store. The first could be sugar, the second could be milk, the third could be pen, the fourth could be microphone, the fifth could be, those kind of checklists. So DOD in a way is just those checklists that you need to be able to complete before you can say this user story is executed. And then this DOD gives the team a shared understanding of what the releasable product could look like. Remember, each sprint, the team should be able to have shippable increments. If the team is not releasing or is not releasing shippable increments every sprint, that sprint has a question mark on it. As a Scrum Master, that should be a prerogative, one of your prerogatives, in coordinating a Scrum team. So you can look at it, DOD, as list of activities, within a sprint. It could be in a whole of that project, to say. So things like writing the code, things like code comments, things like unit testing, or any type of testing that might go into, and then things like design documents, and et cetera, and et cetera. Right? So now, in Agile, the idea of done is different from waterfall. By done in Agile, especially Scrum, we mean that there must be development and there must be testing before we can say this is done. So sometimes, especially team members that are moving away from waterfall, going into Agile, right? When they say they are done, it's very much critical for you to ask them. It's so important for you to ask them, do you mean that you have finished building the code? Most of the times you hear yes. How about the testing? Are we done with the testing? Remember, there are different types of testing. You have the smoke test, you have regression tests, you have unit tests, and other testing. So, Scrum Master, in my own opinion, Scrum Master should have a knowledge about what goes into the development phase on the testing. Right? But it's not a requirement, but in order for you to continue to bring value to the team, my opinion is always to be able to integrate yourself in the development, in the testing, to understand what goes in there. So the idea of done for me, it's not just about building the code, but also testing, because we can't really ship anything to clients in Scrum without doing tests. So if a team member is saying, I am done, okay, you're done. Are you done building? Are you done building plus testing? So if it is building plus test, then that is done. What does that mean? It's a green light. But is it done in terms of building? Okay, but you're not done yet. You're just almost done. The idea of done is completely. The idea of done, in my opinion, based on my study and my experience, is most of the times just development. So what is your own experience? When a developer said, I am done, what do you hear investigating further as a Scrum Master? Is it just building the code, developing that, moving that in a pipeline, and then merging the branches and all that? Or is it just a combination of both the building and then also to testing? Now, from research, in my own investigation in research, I mean, I always encourage you guys, please, if you haven't really gotten a copy of this text, Being Agile, Your Roadmap to Successful Adoption of Agile by Mario E. Moreira. It is a wonderful text. One of the things I used to do here is to do a book review. The book review is not any type of book. It's books that are very much in line with Agile and Scrum. I have read this guy's book. Oh my goodness, it is wonderful. One thing that Moreira tries to do in this text, Moreira breaks it down. Like there was no metaphysical explanation of some of the concepts. The idea was so much broken down for a layman to understand. Even someone that hasn't even got idea about Agile will really be able to get the idea that Moreira portrays in the text. Please go grab a copy. I mean, if there are free copies online, you can get electronic copies on Google, if you know how to get them online. If you could not, I mean, you could always get a copy for yourself through Amazon. So anyway, keep at that. For Moreira, there are about 7 criteria in order for a story to be done. And I love the way that Moreira explains them. What are the 7? The first is the design. The second is the development. The third is documentation, the testing, the version control, defects, and acceptance criteria. We all understand what acceptance criteria is. It's also kind of a checklist. In order for we to say this is ready, we are accepting this. So if you're a Scrum Master and your team is struggling with this idea of done, for me, I always look beyond the area of DoD. I go beyond that, going to the done, because we always want to make sure that we are shipping releasable increments, shippable increments, right? In waterfall, the idea of done is, okay, we are done with development. That is why waterfall has its own defects, a lot of defects. But done in Agile means development and test. Do you agree with me? This is the same or different? I mean, I would love to know what your thoughts are. Now, let's take a look at a practical example of an Agile project. Let's say, launching a mobile app. How do we identify this done in these projects? Again, this is like a fictional project, right? We understand that there are different types of projects. Now, also, this is a high level of things that could happen or could go into that project in order for us to identify if this is done. Now, the first is about writing the code. The code has been written. The code has been reviewed. The build has been deployed for testing, in the different mobile devices, either iOS or, Android. These are the 2 basic devices we have at this point. And then the test has to pass. If it hasn't passed, then we can't really get to that done. And then we can really get, deploy that to Google, for it to be approved for accessibility for the end users. This is when we can say, this project is really done. We are done. Remember, this done could be used during the sprint planning and also for the entire of the project. And the team could always continue to review these checklists. All right, that's where I'm going to stop for today. I hope you got the idea of what I mean by done and done. Most of the times, we Scrum Masters, we almost pay attention to the done, but leaving behind this idea of done. It's also, it could be very funny to have this idea of done, right? Anyways, thank you so much for, working with me for these 15 minutes. I really enjoy your time. Again, please help me to share this content, like it. Again, if this is worth the time, again, please help me to like. Just click that like button there. Give me a thumbs up. If you have a question, put that in the comment section. Connect with me on my Instagram. As you can see on top of the screen, you will see my Instagram page. Please connect with me on my Instagram. Check up with me on LinkedIn, and then let's continue to build this community of practice. If you have any question, please put it in the comment section. I always try to respond as soon as I have those comments. And you can also shoot me an email. If you wanted to get trained, coached, and mentored to become a Scrum Master and Agile coach, please reach out and let's continue to build this community of practice. Thank you so much. Thank you for your time. Thank you for sharing this. Thank you for liking it. And thank you for referring me. I appreciate your time. In the meantime, I hope you stay well. Bye for now.